Why on God's green earth would you do anything this thing and his thing sitting next to him, Kevin Kline, have to say?
Straight from the mouth of Bill Gates. So let me ask you, anybody who would, I don't know, maybe you've never seen videos like this before, and now you're watching my video. Do you really want a genetically modified organism created by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation swimming around in your system for the rest of your life? Guys, once you take the vaccine, you can't untake it. Once you get the test, you can't untake it. And whatever nanoparticles or genetically modified organisms they stick inside of you will stay in you. If you break an egg and put it into the frying pan and you scramble it, you're not going to be able to unscramble it or put it back into that egg. Nothing will ever be the same. Do you want that genetically modified organism in your bloodstream, courtesy of Bill and Melinda Gates? I mean, answer that question. Do you really trust Bill Gates? Let me just put it that way. Do you really trust government? If your answer is yes, I trust government and I trust Bill Gates, then what is the reason? What's the rationale? What's your logic? What is the foundation upon which you rest that gives you confidence that Bill Gates and the government and politicians aren't going to steer you wrong? We have years and years, decades, centuries of politicians doing their people wrong. We have the last 100 years costing the lives of 250 million people, excluding wars. People who trusted their government, they laid down their arms, they turned off their minds, they submitted to the government, and the government destroyed them. It's called democide. Mass destruction of individuals by their own government. 1/4 billion people died at the hands of government. Do you really trust government? Do you really trust the quote-unquote experts? He's not even a medical expert like Bill Gates. If you don't, then why in the hell would you want a vaccine, their vaccine, swimming around in your bloodstream?
And we're injecting them in the little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. We meet with scientists. We see a lot of things that are going very
Listen to what he says now.
very well. Things like reducing childhood death and but you
Did he say things like producing childhood death?
don't have a choice. People act like you have a choice. Normalcy only returns when we've largely vaccinated the entire global population.
There you go. There you go. Normalcy does not return unless we vaccinated the entire global population. That's his words. That's not the word from some YouTuber, D-Liver, conspiracy theorist. You don't get back to normal until you largely vaccinate the world's entire population. That is their aim. That's their goal.
Kennedy Jr. was advising him that vaccines were causing bad things, and I said, no, that's a dead end. That would be a bad thing. Don't do that.
What did he say? He can't even say it right. He's lying so much.
Shocking new report from the New York Times sheds light on the connection between Microsoft founder Bill Gates and the late Jeffrey Epstein.
Not only does he have the world's largest charitable foundation, but one of their primary missions is to help young women in underprivileged countries. Jeffrey Epstein was preying on young women from Eastern Europe, from South Africa, luring them into his web. And it's the antithesis of what the...
And he was buddies with Bill Gates, who's constantly around and saying he's trying to help children. Great. What a great mix. And Bill Gates is constantly hanging around Jeffrey Epstein, has flown on Lolita Express. Have you been to the island, Bill? How come you don't hear anybody in mainstream media asking Bill Gates these kinds of questions? Bill Gates, have you ever been on Jeffrey Epstein's island? Bill Gates, why did you continue to hang around Jeffrey Epstein after his initial conviction? What's the answer to that?
Gates Foundation stands for. And by the way, there were Gates Foundation employees who were horrified when they realized what Jeffrey Epstein had done and was saying, we don't want to have anything to do with this, and yet the project went on.
Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated.
Oh, you mean like in Germany in the 1930s and 40s with stars?
Person, because you don't want people moving around the world where you'll have some countries that won't have it under control, sadly.
Who in the world gave this man the right to stand up here and tell you nothing will return to normal unless he gets his own way. Do you see? Wake up!